Paheli and Bucho were excited about visiting their uncle's house during the summer vacation. Their uncle was a farmer, and they had always heard about the hard work farmers put into growing crops. One day, while the Gaitai were walking through the fields, they saw various tools lying around, like a kurpi, sickle, shovel, and plow. Their uncle explained that these tools help farmers in growing food for people and how important it is to have a good crop, proper management, and a way to distribute the food. Paheli asked, "Uncle, why is it so important to grow food?" Uncle smiled and replied, "Well, all living creatures, including humans, need food for energy. Plants can make their own food, but humans and animals can't. That's why we need to grow a lot of food for everyone to eat." Uncle continued, "To grow enough food for a large population, we need to follow certain steps. These steps are called agricultural practices." He explained that agriculture started thousands of years ago when people stopped wandering in search of food and began cultivating the land to grow crops like rice, wheat, and other food. This is how agriculture was born. Paheli was curious and asked, "So, what exactly is a crop?" Uncle explained, "When we grow plants of the same kind in one place on a large scale, it's called a crop. For example, when we plant wheat in a field, it's called a wheat crop." Bujo asked, "Are all crops the same?" Uncle replied, "No, there are different types of crops, like cereals, vegetables, and fruits. And crops are grown in different seasons. For example, some crops are grown during the rainy season, which is called the Kharif season, and others are grown during the winter, called the Rabi season." Paheli and Bujo listened carefully as their uncle described the different types of crops. Kharif crops, like paddy, maize, and cotton, are sown during the rainy season, while Rabi crops, like wheat and mustard, are grown in the winter season. There are also crops like pulses and vegetables that are grown in the summer. Uncle said, "Now let me tell you about the basic practices of crop production. The first step is preparing the soil. The soil needs to be loosened so the roots of the plants can grow deep and get enough air. This process is called tilling or plowing, and it's done using a tool called a plow." Paheli asked, "Why do we need to loosen the soil?" Uncle explained, "Loosening the soil helps the plants grow better. It brings the nutrient-rich soil to the top and also helps in the growth of tiny organisms like earthworms, which are good for the soil." Bujo was excited and asked, "What about sowing the seeds? How do you plant them?" Uncle smiled and said, "Good question. After preparing the soil, we sow the seeds. Seeds must be healthy and of good quality. There are different ways of sowing seeds. In the old days, farmers used a traditional tool shaped like a funnel, but now there's a tool called a seed drill, which uses a tractor and helps sow the seeds evenly." Paheli wondered, "What happens after the seeds are sown?" Uncle continued, "After sowing, the crops need manure and fertilizers to grow strong. Manure is made from the decomposition of plant and animal waste, while fertilizers are chemical substances that provide specific nutrients. Both help in improving the soil for better crop production." Bujo asked, "What about watering the plants?" Uncle explained, "Water is essential for plants. We have to water them regularly, especially during the summer. There are many ways to irrigate crops, like using wells, ponds, and canals. Nowadays, modern methods, like the sprinkler and drip systems, are used to water the plants efficiently." As they walked through the fields, Paheli and Bujo realized that farming isn't just about planting seeds. It involves a lot of hard work and careful planning. From preparing the soil to sowing seeds, adding manure, watering, and protecting the crops from weeds, every step is crucial to ensure that there's enough food for everyone. And so, Paheli and Bujo learned that farming is not just about growing crops, but also about managing the land and resources wisely to feed the growing population.